Informational privacy and cybersecurity. Privacy interests. Privacy interest refers to an individual's right to control access to their personal information and to be protected from unwanted intrusion or surveillance. This includes personal information such as name, address, phone number, social security number, financial information, health records, and online activity. Transmission principles are the factors under which information privacy is considered. These include consideration of the subject, sender, and recipient of the information. Using these principles, data companies must make determinations of the level of privacy to afford them. For example, if the recipient is a known terrorist group and the subject is bomb, intervention may be warranted. Business activities can risk the privacy rights of their consumers in various ways. One common way is through the collection and use of personal information. Many businesses collect personal information from their customers, either through online transactions, customer loyalty programs, or other means. While some of this information may be necessary for the business to provide its services, collecting excessive or unnecessary information can pose a risk to consumers' privacy. Additionally, businesses may sell or share personal information with third-party companies for marketing or other purposes. While this practice is legal in many cases, it can raise ethical concerns about the protection of consumers' privacy and the control they have over their personal information. Another way that business activities can risk privacy rights is through data breaches or other security incidents. When personal information is stored electronically, it is vulnerable to hacking, theft, or other unauthorized access. If a business's security measures are inadequate, or if it fails to promptly notify customers of a data breach, it can put consumers' personal information at risk. Businesses can also risk privacy rights by using surveillance technology such as video cameras or tracking software, such as monitoring company vehicles with a GPS when being used off hours by employees, without the consent or knowledge of their customers. While these technologies can be useful for security or marketing purposes, they can also infringe on individuals' privacy rights and raise concerns about surveillance and monitoring. In fact, in the case Cunningham versus State Department of Labor, the New York Court of Appeals held that constant and relentless tracking made a search unreasonable. Therefore, items found by the government during this kind of tracking could not be used against the defendant. Data breaches. In 2014 and 2016, Yahoo suffered two major data breaches that compromised the personal information of hundreds of millions of users. The breaches were among the largest in history and underscored the importance of strong cybersecurity measures and prompt disclosure of data breaches. They were caused by Yahoo's lack of commitment to cybersecurity. The first breach occurred in 2014 but was not discovered until 2016. The breach compromised the personal information of at least 500 million users, including names, email addresses, phone numbers, dates of birth, and security questions and answers. Yahoo initially believed that the breach was conducted by a state-sponsored actor, but later revised its assessment to suggest that it was likely the work of a criminal group. The second breach occurred in 2013 and was also discovered in 2016. This breach compromised the personal information of at least 1 billion users, including names, email addresses, dates of birth, and security questions and answers. Yahoo later revealed that this breach also involved the theft of encrypted passwords, but that the passwords had been salted and hashed, techniques to hide the actual passwords, which made them more difficult to crack. Both breaches were significant because they exposed users' personal information to potential identity theft and other forms of fraud. They also raised questions about Yahoo's security practices and its ability to protect users' data. In response to the breaches, Yahoo offered free credit monitoring services to affected users and implemented new security measures, including two-factor authentication and the use of encrypted communications. The breaches also highlighted the importance of prompt disclosure of data breaches. In the case of the 2014 breach, Yahoo's delay in disclosing the breach was criticized by security experts and regulators who argued that users had a right to know that their personal information had been compromised. The delay also resulted in significant reputational damage to Yahoo and raised questions about the company's commitment to transparency and user privacy. Data security and government intervention. In December 2015, a terrorist attack occurred in San Bernardino, California, resulting in the deaths of 14 people and injuring 22 others. The FBI was investigating the incident and requested access to the iPhone used by one of the suspects, Syed Farouk, in order to gather evidence and information about the attack. However, the phone was protected by encryption and a passcode which made it impossible for the FBI to access its contents without the passcode. The FBI requested that Apple create a new software that would allow it to bypass the phone's encryption and access its contents. Apple refused, citing concerns about the security and privacy implications of creating such a software. The dispute between Apple and the FBI raised important ethical considerations regarding privacy and security. On one hand, the FBI argued that its request was necessary for national security and to prevent future terrorist attacks. On the other hand, Apple argued that creating the requested software would undermine the security of all iPhones, as it would set a precedent for government access to encrypted devices and create a backdoor that could be exploited by hackers or other governments. The case also highlighted the potential conflict between national security and privacy, and the importance of finding a balance between the two. While national security is an important concern, it should not be pursued at the expense of privacy or other fundamental rights. It is also important for businesses to take proactive measures to protect user data and to be transparent about their policies and practices. Ultimately, the FBI was able to access the phone without Apple's assistance through the help of a third-party vendor. The case, however, remained a contentious issue in the ongoing debate over privacy and encryption and underscored the importance of finding a balance between privacy and national security in the age of digital technology.